Devin Haney has proven himself to be an absolute monster at 135 pounds. He's taken on the best that the division has to offer and recently shut down all doubters after successfully taking on Ukrainian sensation Vasyl Lomachenko. However, Haney's battle for supremacy is far from over, and there are still many roadblocks in his path to domination. In this video, we will analyze the biggest threats to Devin Haney and decide where he should go if he wants to remain an undefeated fighter. So, without any further ado, let's take a look, fight fans. Vasyl Lomachenko. Many fans and boxing critics were unimpressed with Haney's unanimous decision win over Lomachenko. Many considered it a draw at best, with others suggesting that Vasyl should have taken the decision. This controversy has the boxing world crying out for one thing: a rematch. And should Haney decide to take this rematch, he may be in for a world of trouble. During their bout, Haney undoubtedly had the better start. However, towards the second half of the fight, Vasyl started to up the pace and drown Haney with clever angles and tricky footwork. Rounds 10 and 11 were the most clear-cut from a scoring perspective and clearly went to the Ukrainian. Haney was able to re-establish himself in round 12, but only after being completely outmatched for 6 minutes. So, if the two were to share the ring for a second time, things might not go the Americans' way. Vasyl is still one of the biggest threats to any fighter in the 135-pound division, and even a man who has beaten him before is not safe.
Lomachenko is a future. He's a future Hall of Famer. It was a blessing. But first up, I want to say, Alhamdulillah, thank you Allah for this victory tonight.
Gervonta Davis. Gervonta Davis has had an equally stunning career as Devin Haney in the 135-pound division. He's taken on every opponent thrown his way and beaten them indecisively. These two fighters have been leading parallel careers for years, and it's only a matter of time until the two share the ring to unify the division. So, how much of a threat does Gervonta Davis pose to his fellow American? To put it lightly, a big threat. You just have to look at Davis's recent fight history to see why. He beat Ryan Garcia, a man who has arguably had more hype than any other fighter in recent years, with relative ease. In this fight, he was able to evade the immense speed of Garcia and displayed immense boxing IQ with his punch placement and accuracy. Haney clearly lacks in the power department when compared to Davis, too. He possesses a knockout rate of just 50%. Compare this to Davis's 93% knockout rate, and it's clear who would have the power advantage. We're not saying that Davis would beat Haney if the two stepped into the ring together. But if they do eventually fight, Haney should be prepared to lose his belt and undefeated record because Davis is nothing but a threat. Shakur Stevenson. Another massive threat in the 135-pound division is Shakur Stevenson. This guy is an absolute monster in the ring. There have been a few signs that Shakur is starting to push for this fight. For instance, after the Vasyl bout, Shakur stormed into the ring, demanding Haney to sign the contract and get the fight going.
Lomachenko should be undisputed champion. He won.
Wow. And recently, both fighters were at the same club. So Shakur decided to send Haney a bottle with a message to sign the contract. Talk about pushy. The fact that Haney hasn't responded to Shakur has led some to suggest that Haney is actually scared of sharing the ring with Stevenson. So, is Shakur really that big of a threat? Yes, he is undoubtedly Haney's biggest challenge outside of Davis right now. Shakur is an incredibly talented southpaw with the ability to move his feet faster than anyone else in the division. Couple this with world-class defense and good hand speed, and it's easy to see why everyone has been avoiding this man for years. Former world champion Sergio Mora had an interesting take on the situation. In a recent interview, he stated, "It's a prime fight. I don't think moving up is avoiding Shakur Stevenson. Everyone's going to be avoiding Stevenson. It's the wrong style for everyone." Haney became undisputed by fighting one fighter pretty much, George Kambosos. It's unlikely that Haney is scared of Shakur, but he should be. He's one of the only people in the world who can beat Haney at his own game. Regis Prograis. Another threat to Devin Haney is Regis Prograis, the current world champion of the 140-pound division. Should Haney decide to move up a weight class, Regis would be a tough contender to face. But how would that fight go down? Well, Regis's biggest attribute in this bout would be his power. He's won his last 4 fights by way of knockout and is a natural 140-pounder. Haney, on the other hand, doesn't look big for 135 pounds and has even been rocked by fighters in this division. His power is nothing extraordinary at this weight class either. However, Haney arguably has a higher fight IQ and better skills. If he could avoid the power of Regis, he could box his way to a decision, making this an easier fight for Haney than Shakur or Davis. William Zepeda. Another lightweight fighter who poses a threat to Devin Haney and his undefeated record is William Zepeda. After a convincing win over Jamie Arboleda, Zepeda has cemented himself in the lightweight division. Zepeda doesn't have a particularly flashy style. Rather, he relies on a high guard and accurate straight punches to wear his opponent down and get a late finish. Zepeda likely isn't quite ready to pose a huge threat to Haney right now, but still, this is a fight that would test the American's skills and composure. Josh Taylor. The final threat to Haney right now is Josh Taylor. The super lightweight is a stunning boxer, and only Lopez has managed to beat him in the pro game. Taylor possesses an awkward style that could give Haney big problems in finding a rhythm and ultimately bagging the rounds. Haney hasn't expressed any interest in fighting Taylor right now, but in the distant future, we could see these two fighters share the ring. So, who's the biggest threat to Devin Haney right now? Well, the biggest threats are clearly at 135 pounds. Davis would likely be a favorite should the two Americans share the ring, and Haney could easily lose his belts to the WBA champion. Vasil is hungry for a rematch with Haney and would be less than willing to let the fight go the distance. And Shakur is, well, Shakur, a hungry fighter with a devastating style that could dethrone the American king with ease. Haney's best bet is to move up to 140 pounds and avoid the bigger threats at 135. This way, he might just stay undefeated. So that's all you need to know about the biggest threats to Devin Haney following his bout with Lomachenko. We'd love to get your thoughts on who Haney should fight next, so let us know in the comments section. And if you haven't already, jab that like button and give that bell icon a left hook, and we'll see you in the next video.